We need more movies with curvy women where the story isn't about how they look. They just exist the way that they do and they're loved the way that they do. And it has nothing to do about the way that they look.
I'm super excited to have here the most incredible Brooke Lee, who is an actor, model, and also a professional creator. She has used her voice in acting, but also standing true to what she believes in, which is all things to do with body confidence, body positivity, and also her journey when it comes to art and endometriosis.
When I was younger, I was a little bit of an ugly duckling. Like I had a lot of teeth problems. I had big chubby cheeks. And I think that when I was younger, I actually didn't have a negative look on myself.
Beautiful.
It's something that developed as I got older. I remember asking my agent, do I need to lose weight? And your relationship with your body, it isn't a straight line and it isn't a full stop. It's something that as your body changes, you have to learn to love it in different ways.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Say It With Your Chest. And I'm super excited to have here the most incredible Brooke Lee, who is an actor, model, and also a professional creator. She has used her voice in acting, but also standing true to what she believes in, which is all things to do with body confidence, body positivity, and also her journey when it comes to art and endometriosis. We're going to hear from Brooke today on all of the amazing things that she has done. So welcome to Say It With Your Chest, Brooke. I'm always big on letting the opportunities for people like yourself to have your rants, have your say, have your strong stance. And if there's been anything that you've ever felt that you wanted to start by getting it off your chest, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
We need more movies with curvy women where the story isn't about how they look. They just exist the way that they do and they're loved the way that they do. And it has nothing to do about the way that they look.
Oh, can we touch on this? Tell me more, like why is that so strong for you now?
It's strong for me. I never realized how big of a thing that it was for me personally until I was in a movie called Lick in 2024. We filmed in Atlanta, and how powerful it was being in a role that was that. It was originally a book and then it was turned into the movie. But it was never really about the way that she looked. She was described as being curvy and having curves, and that was great. And it was never a bad thing. It was never a good thing. And she falls in love and he never brings it up. It's never a topic of conversation. She's a curvy girl. She is loved. She's in a love story.
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with the storyline.
Love that.
And why is that not more often? Why is it always the funny best friend who's, curvy or bodacious, or it's, the nerdy friend, or it's like, why does it have to be about the way they look?
I love this. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of women now are really embracing their true authentic self. I'm a shorty, by the way, half Brazilian German. And I used to always had this perception of wanting to be a certain way, and hence this podcast. It's all about just being your true authentic self. I'm a red wine girl drinker, and I think more people need to embrace who they are rather than trying to be perfect or polished or, as you said, having this perception of being skinny. But when you hear about authentic self and owning your voice, what comes to mind when you hear that?
I guess my own kind of struggles is immediately I think about how I've dealt with that myself and how it's an ever-changing thing, and your relationship with your body. It isn't a straight line and it isn't a full stop. It's something that as your body changes, you have to learn to love it in different ways. And I think that's really powerful. And it's not even just necessarily about weight. It's also about, smile lines and the way that you look as you age. And I think it's important to look at yourself with grace and love and not be mean at what you see in the reflection.
If you were to look at Brooke when she was a younger girl and she used to look at herself in the mirror, what were some of the things she was saying and what would you tell her to say instead?
So I was blessed in that I was blissfully unaware with when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was a little bit of an ugly duckling. Like I had a lot of teeth problems.
Beautiful.
I had big chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
And I used to have this stomach that I still do. I refer to it as the Chinaman when I hunch over. My rolls make like a little like face within it. Like it's something that I was made fun of, but I also made fun of myself. And I think that when I was younger, I actually didn't have a negative look on myself.
Beautiful.
It's something that developed as I got older.
Yeah.
And then when I became more in the spotlight, when I got when I started doing acting outside of school,
Was
I
it
realized
after school or?
it was just after school. Yeah. I remember asking my agent, do I need to lose weight? How do I get these roles? Like, is it the way that I look? And then that's kind of when it started.
Was that a bad way that you were saying that, or was more like a curious or really wanting to build your career as well?
I think it was wanting to build my career because I wanted it more than anything. You know, I really, really wanted that. And then that's kind of when the negative talk came up, and I was like, I need to lose weight, and I would try everything that I could to lose weight. And I would say there was a good 10 years there where it was a lot of what I think about. You know, you wake up in the morning and because it's like food is fuel, and you have to eat to be able to fuel your body, but that's not how you see it when you're dealing with an eating disorder or when you're dealing with, you know, personal body issues.
Did it go down the type of disorder when you were reflecting on it a little bit more?
I would never say that I had I was never diagnosed with any eating disorder. It's more so what I would see within myself that I've kind of self-diagnosed as I've gotten older and realized, oh, that wasn't very healthy. Because I have PCOS, which is a disease of your ovaries that is incurable, but it also makes it very, very difficult, very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to lose weight, and very easy to gain weight. So I've realized before I was diagnosed with that, which also took a very long time, wasn't until I was 30 years old that I got a diagnosis.
Wow, I've got questions on this too.
Yeah,
I know you're
despite
very big on
going to the doctors many, 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 many times, it was not until I was 30. And I realized once I, you know, knew what it was, and you can treat it with natural remedies. Wow, now that my body's performing better, I really did have an eating disorder.
Yeah,
because I would eat, like, I couldn't eat carbs, I couldn't eat any sugar. If I had like a glass of wine, God forbid, I would have to spend, you know, an hour a day in the morning working out, an hour in the afternoon every single day. And that was just to maintain what my body looked like. That wasn't even to be the fittest person alive. That was just for maintenance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely something that I could reflect back on once I got a bit older.
I love that. It actually kind of leads me into the next question, and it's really beautiful that you talk about the things that you went through growing up and the realizations that you have now, which I'm going to go into a little bit more about PCOS and endometriosis. But I do feel, and I'm just the person you've got in front of me right now, like if everyone was to watch, like there's this aura about you, there is this realness and authenticity. And yes, you've got beauty and boldness, but you've also got this playful spark. And what's been the most misunderstood thing about Brooke Lee that people do not see behind, I guess, the polished posts?
That I'm a real introvert.
Wow.
I know how to be in a room, and I know how to, I suppose, command a room, if you want to say that.
Love that.
I know how to play the character that people want to see in my day-to-day life. But my social battery runs out quick.
Yeah, interesting.
And I need to get home, and I need to do the things that I need to do so that I can sleep that night. You know, I have to do my routine. Otherwise, I'm racked with anxiety before bed. Like, it's just something that I've just learnt to control, but it's definitely like...
How did you learn? Like, what was it like for you knowing you're a hidden introvert? What's the things that you learn? I can't believe that, by the way. That's beautiful.
I guess, like spending time with big groups of people, I would realize I felt very uncomfortable. I felt like I was being judged when I would meet new people. And I just felt like I didn't have worthy enough things to talk about.
Are you an empath too, by any chance?
I am an empath.
You feel a lot, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And I would just really struggle in big environments with new people, but no one would ever know.
Yeah. That's a gift. You know that the best speakers are introverts? So if you ever go down the speaking route and things like that?
Well, I do like presenting stuff.
Yeah.
I was the Brisbane Bullets MC for the basketball.
And did you enjoy that?
It was very challenging.
Yeah, wow.
It was a big step up.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. One day was like 7,000 people. You're in a stadium of 7,000 people. But I loved it. It was like something. It was a dream. It was something that I had been working towards for a very long time.
Beautiful. And I think as an actor, I think there's so many beautiful skills. You learn method acting. Am I right in saying that? Because I used to do acting when I was a little girl. So if I'm saying the wrong terminology, please interrupt me. But getting into character, do you feel like being more extroverted, you need to get into characters as well?
Character building. I don't say that I ever do like method acting. I would say probably more intuitive acting.
Beautiful.
Which in a way, I guess, can be kind of method.
You're trusting yourself though, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
You kind of trust yourself, and part of it, I think that you have to relate to a character in some way to be able to play them. That's for me personally. That's not the same for everybody. But for me, there has to be something within me that can relate to what this person is thinking, feeling. And I've said no to roles before because I'm just like, I don't feel the connection to this character. I don't believe that I'll be able to find who she is in an authentic way that's true to how I want to play it.
Do you find a lot of women say, or even men, yes, because they want to, get into the acting world quite fast? And have you ever felt like you've had to make things work so that you can get ahead or anything like that?
Funny you should say. I just got offered potentially the biggest role of my life.
Can you tell us?
I can't.
You can tell off it.
Because I had to God, I have been working towards this particular job forever. It's something that I've had in the back of my mind and I've been working really hard towards it. And I had auditioned for them many times.
When you say many times, how many times?
I always say like 10.
Wow.
Yeah, over the years. It's a series.
Wow.
It's a long-standing series.
Yeah.
And very excited, came through again. I was like, oh, yeah, put it down. So then I ended up getting it, but they changed the dates and it clashes with my wedding.
That is a massive call, babe. That's incredible.
And I had to decide. So they first changed the date and said, okay, we'll have to dye your hair red. And that was 4 days before my wedding. And I was like, that's fine. I will do it.
You'll always find a way, right?
I will. I'll just stay. I'll be red. I'll have red hair for my wedding. That's okay. Let's do it. I want to do it. I want this really badly.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And I will make it work. And then they said, oh, no, we've changed the dates. And I was like, that's something that I have to draw the line. And I have to say, I can't, because at some point, you do have to put yourself first. And
obviously love too. Like, what's your future husband's name, by the way? Mitch. What was Mitch saying behind the scenes?
Oh, Mitch is my biggest supporter.
I love that.
And he's just there for me. And he's like, whatever you want,
We'll
do
beautiful.
it. We'll make it work, whatever it is. But obviously, like, he would have been heartbroken if we had to, I would never cancel the wedding on him. But yeah, it was definitely.
Especially with how hard you worked.
I mean, I thought about it.
We all do. It's like, could I make it?
I was like, could I somehow make that work? And, and I think that I'm a big believer in just believing in the universe.
Yeah.
And that everything does happen for a reason. And this was just not my time. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt any less.
Yeah.
But this was just not my time.
And I think that's going to be rewarded for you as the universe, one chapter closes, the universe will open things, something bigger and better will come your way, even though you worked so, so hard. And I can feel that right now. Like I've got goosebumps, and I think a lot of people sometimes need to hear that sometimes a no will turn into a yes later. It actually leads me to this question, because when it comes to following your dreams, are you someone that's more disciplined when it comes to following your dreams, or proving to yourself that you can do hard things?
I'm just a yes man.
Yeah, I love example.
5 weeks ago, I had a friend come to me and say, I'm doing an art exhibition. I want you to be the main artist, and I want you to have 10 pieces in this art exhibition.
That's awesome.
For Endometriosis Australia. And I said, I haven't picked up a paintbrush in 2.5 years because I've been focusing on different artistic ventures. I said, I have nothing right now. And she's like, well, it's in 3 weeks. So I was like, you want me to come up with a whole creative collection and vision in 3 weeks? Yeah, right. Why not? Let's do it.
That would have been the pressure, though. Sometimes you work better with pressure and timelines and leverage and deadlines.
Sure. I do think that to an extent when it comes to like creatively making something that actually
that's
isn't
true.
like a thing that you just have to type out. It's like you got to wait for layers to dry and to build on it and to sit with it for a while and see how it's sitting. And anyway, look, I got 8 up, which was great. I was very happy with that. Happy with how it came together. And it's the same as
That's so talented, by the way. Is there anything else you can?
I'm a creative soul. I'm very
Beautiful,
much
though.
just I'm not like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. If that's the way, I'm not going to turn down that opportunity. The universe has given it to me and I'm going to say, okay.
Who's taught you that, by the way? Who was the one in your life that's kind of, I mean, and it always comes within you, but it's like, have you seen anyone that's got the same mentality in your life? Inspirations or anyone?
I don't even think so. I think
That's awesome.
I'm the one that says it to the people.
Yeah, that's so
I'm the
good.
one that goes, oh, well,
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to come of this.
Yeah.
You don't know it yet.
We need more people like you.
It might have been my mum. She's probably not put it in those like words, but she's always been, if I say something negative, she'll say, don't put that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Say it a different way. But mostly it's
Reframing
like,
it.
oh, I can't forget that. She'll say, no, you'll remember that.
So
As I'm leaving, I'll be like, I'll remember my keys or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Rather than I'll forget that. Yeah, just like little things like that. I think I've picked it up from my mum and then I've built it into this beast.
It's so powerful though, because language is everything. And one of the things I always talk to my clients about when people say, I'm so overwhelmed or I need to make money, it's like you get to choose to. You may feel a little bit heightened, but it's because something's new to you. So it's like the flip in language can make such a difference. It's something me and my partner always talk about. But I really want to come back to endometriosis. I've actually recently had surgery. I don't know if you knew that. I would say it's been 10 weeks. I recovered really fast and I had phase 3. I reckon I've normalised pain since 10 years ago.
Wow. Did you know what level you were before you went in?
No,
Didn't
not at
know.
all.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's because I've had years of dance background, excessive sports training. I've been in acting stages. Like for me, I've just had this strong resilience and discipline that for me, pain was normal. And when that came into conversation, my partner and I were going to freeze my embryos. And he just looked at me and goes, I think you need to address the elephant in the room. And when he told me that he felt really, scared to hurt me during sex, our intimacy, our love, I was like, we need to go through this. So I want to hear, and I think a lot of women need to hear more about endometriosis. It's becoming a lot more spoken about. Women are standing up for their rights and their bodies, doctors telling you nothing was wrong, but you knew.
Yeah. It was a really long time coming.
Yeah. Please share us.
I do remember when I was a lot younger and a doctor had thrown it out there and I must have been like 19 and someone threw out the PCOS thing. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get pregnant. I'm not going to be able to, all of that.
And you were young when you're thinking this?
Yeah, I was. But then I would go to so many different doctors and I was waiting for is this actually what I have? And every doctor would look at me and say, well, you don't fit the category. You don't have, very overweight. You don't have, hairs on your chin.
Yeah.
You don't have like any of the typical signs that visually that we can see. And I'm like, because I work really, really hard. I definitely think that endometriosis is something that is a journey that I'm really only just starting
Beautiful.
recently because I only just recently, again, first it was the PCOS, definitely, yes, you have it. And then it was a few other things that I had to get checked out that just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, well, you've got adenomyosis.
What's that? I've actually never heard of that.
So endometriosis is where the lining grows outside of your uterus and into all of your organs, right?
Wow.
I'm saying it wrong because I went to an event recently and she said it differently. And now I thought it was adenomyosis, but I think she said adenomyosis. Anyway.
We will check.
Adeno.
That's insane.
And so that's where the excess lining actually grows within the muscle walls.
Yeah.
And they said it's very, very unlikely for you to have one and not the other. So they're like, okay, so we can pretty much say that you've got this and that. I don't know what stage I am because I don't want to get the surgery because I'm glad that this has worked for you. But
I'm surprised too.
At an endo event, she said 1 in 7 women in Australia have endometriosis.
Yeah.
1 in 6 in Queensland, more common in Queensland. And then she said that this blows my mind. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Only 40% of women get relief from surgery.
Wow. And a lot of the times it comes back.
Yes. And sometimes it can come back meaner.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to hold off needing the surgery.
I think the biggest thing, and I always say, like, everyone's different. So it's kind of like when doctors prescribe or say you have this and this, it's so complex now these days. You know, everyone's so unique in their own ways. You know, what worked for me may not work for you. It's like my belief is my belief versus you. And so at the end of the day, it's like you trust your body. And I'm more curious about endometriosis and whether it's like trauma or emotional things. Like, we can go deep with this, but I feel the exact same way. You know, mine's only been 10 weeks, but, you know, who knows? But I think a lot of people need to hear. And some people have had surgery with no symptoms and they had it.
And then there's been, I think Sophie Monk had stage 1, but every month she was like in the hospital in like needing serious painkillers. And she was only stage 1, but everybody feels it differently. Like there's people at stage 4 that don't know. I mean, there's people, they found endometriosis in brains, in tonsils.
Gee, I didn't know that. That's insane.
So like there's a woman I met at that same endo event that every month her tonsils would bleed because she had endometriosis in her tonsils because it had grown up through everything.
See, so it can even keep growing and growing.
It's been found in the brain.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's like it's a cancer. It's crazy.
Yeah, it almost is, and we don't know too much about it.
It's now. I don't know if the source is correct or not, but I think in the UK they've just said that it qualifies as a disability.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because of this beautiful element to the art piece and what you're bringing out, you know, what do you want women to hear, or even men to understand? Like, what's the vision that you want to create from this, or at least even change the perception of it with people?
I guess if you're another woman that's dealing with endometriosis, that knowing that every single person is different, like what we just said, everybody's journey is really, really different with endo, and it really just depends on you and what you would like to do, and not to be pressured into taking pills, having the surgery, unless you feel like that is right for you.
Yeah.
Because that's what doctors will do. They'll put you on the pill or they'll put you into surgery. And if it's not right for you, you need to stand up for what you want.
Yeah.
And having a really good support network with you who are open to understanding the challenges that come with endo. Because a lot of the time I have these friends that have had in the past partners that just dismiss their pain or dismiss the symptoms.
Isn't that interesting too, though? And a lot of men, they'll go, oh, it's just your periods, or it's just, you know, she's at the time of the month, and then we feel bad for speaking out, getting it off our chests, you know?
It's wrong. I'm so lucky, and I'm sure you are as well, to have a partner that completely understands it, and he'll sit there and I can talk all the gory details, and he'll
go, I love you still the same way.
And he'll sit there and he'll support me, and he'll be like, oh yeah, or I'll say, oh, I feel like it's worse this month, or it's better, or I've tried this, I've tried that, and he'll sit there and he'll come up with ideas with me, and he'll help me through it. And I know without a doubt that, you know, sometimes if you do the surgery, it can sometimes take up to 6 weeks to really feel good again. And I know that he would take the time off work to care for me, and it's about having the people around you that don't diminish what you're feeling. Yeah, for sure.
I agree. It's funny because when I had the appointment, she's like, you're going to be bedridden. And I believed I was going to be bedridden for like 2 weeks. I was at my best friend's engagement. I'm very much like, they call me Trooper Tam. It's like she'll just bounce back. She'll just make it work, whether it's a mentality thing or something in me that just clicks. And I was training within the next 2 weeks. Me and my partner were having sex. Oh my God. Hopefully there'll be a baby next time I see you. I don't know. Do you want kids, by the way?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. It's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Only because I actually genuinely have no idea.
That's fine. You don't need to know.
Yeah. I'm 33 and I'm no closer to having a choice. I wish it was easy for me. I wish I could just be like, yes, I do. But at the same time, I think if I was like 100% yes, and then I realized that the decision wasn't mine because of all the things that I have, then I'd be even more heartbroken.
But you know what as well? I'm 36, right? And I was the avoidant of my friendship groups, the Peter Pan of the girl. Like I had fear of wanting to have a kid because I was homeless at 12. My mum, I don't know, for me, I always wanted to give my future kids the life I never had, right? So when it came to that, even having to freeze my embryos, that's me avoiding having having a baby. And it wasn't until this surgery, I can't explain it, Brooke, but I felt like this black thing was in my body that was removed.
Wow. That's powerful.
And maybe that will, I don't know, for me now I'm excited to have a kid, but had you asked me before December, I would be like, I'm just going to avoid everything right now. So I think that'll come for you, whether it's a yes or whether it's not now or whether it's no, you know?
Yeah. It's also like financially a really difficult world that we're going into. And like, gosh, what do they say? Millennials, like we've had a really difficult time in our lifetime because yes, definitely. If you look at the, gosh, what are they called? The silent generation, I think. I think that's what they're called.
I'm so behind them. I don't even know
it's
what
like
I am.
before the boomers, they went through like, you know, the Vietnam War, like they had to, they went through some really crazy things. However, they were rewarded after each one of those events with, you know, great economic prosperity. And it's like, I feel like with the millennials, every time something has happened, the economy's just gotten more and more and more expensive and we're just like not getting anywhere.
I'm like, come on,
and I'm like,
what's next?
Yeah, I very much feel like my decision is like, do you want kids or do you want to travel twice a year? I'm like, well,
I
don't know.
I'm that person. I still haven't done my Europe trip. I haven't done Tomorrowland yet. I'm like, when am I going to do it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, travel sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. The world will tell. I have no idea. We'll see.
And let me know if I say this right, because when I remember in the entertainment world, we're all actors, correct? What do you get to now work on? Obviously, you know, you've got some really great opportunities coming up, you know, but outside of all of that, like, you know, for you to stay top of mind, you know, being able to build your own brand, you know, everything that you're doing, you know, what are you proactively doing to get out there and not just be known and be seen, but, you know, being memorable in what you believe in?
So interesting you should say in terms of like, I suppose, branding myself. After I did, May 2024 or June 2024, whenever it was, when I did that movie overseas, I looked at my Instagram.
I have questions on your movies, I promise you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I looked at my Instagram and 50% of my income at the time was coming from brand collaborations.
Yeah, awesome.
Which was great. You know, you get sent stuff, you make content, you have fun doing it, you get a lot of flexibility with your life. But I looked at that after I did my movie and I was like, I don't even know who that person is.
Can you tell me more? Why did that come up?
In terms of, so I have an advertising degree and I just looked at that and said, if I'm a producer looking to cast me in something, this is not a good representation of who I am nor who I want to be. It is literally just a platform where I make money. And that felt really inauthentic and it felt not nice.
Yeah.
So I actually went through and I deleted a lot of posts. I deleted a lot on there.
What would it be like compared to now? Because I've done a very similar cull. It was like a cleanse. Very funny, actually. What would be like Brooke then versus now?
So in terms of like visually what you would see. So visually what you would see on my Instagram prior to 2024 would have been me doing reels where I'm changing clothes or whatever for different brands, or I was talking about a product, or I was getting sent, you know, free stuff that I would talk about on my stories. Very much like a sales channel.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at my Instagram now,
Which I love, by the way.
when you look at my Instagram now, thank you, it is, I feel, a professional page in that when I look at it, I see a professional actor and model. I see someone who's a creative, which I am. I've got, you know, newspaper articles on there. I've got my work on there. I have modeling work, acting work. If I'm going to like red carpets or events, I have that on there.
That's awesome.
I very rarely will have any sort of product or brand collaborations on there unless it's something that
It's close to your heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at it now and I'm okay, proud to have that and to see that. Except I halved my income by doing it, and that came with its own challenges.
But isn't that beautiful though? Because kind of a lot of women, myself included, years ago, I had the skinny teas. I was in the fitness space. And I was like, oh my God, why don't I do that? But it is. It's like you say yes to everything, but now you get to say yes to what you choose. But it's interesting how people make decisions based on money, based on what their worth of, you know, having more income and whatnot, to the detriment of what perception's like, right?
Well, yeah. And I will say that I've not recovered that money back in other avenues yet. Yet. It is something that it didn't just like, I'm not going to lie and be like, I did that and then I just got flooded with job offers. No, I'm still in the process of rebranding myself, and that does take time.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm proud at what I see, I don't regret the decision at all.
Yeah, I think that's powerful. And if you were to explain your new rebrand in 3 words, what comes to mind?
I'd say creative, professional, and I don't even know. Who is she? It's a hard question.
Oh, come back to me. Let it marinate with you.
Yeah.
Maybe when you have your Italian later, you'll message me and go, I've got the word.
Yes.
I've got this question around some of the projects as well. By the way, does Mitch ever go, like, when it comes to, like, I've always been curious, kissing or anything like that?
Well, yes. Is that the question?
Well, we'll lead into that.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'll go the question I've got. But yeah, when it comes to the intimacy and questions and ever having that conversation with Mitch, what's he like about it?
Yeah. So the movie Lick is for a.
How funny! I was just about to.
There you go. Yeah. So it's I mean, I'll tell you about the movie.
Okay.
So the movie Lick I did is with Passion Flick, which is a American brand owned by Tosca Musk, who's Elon's sister.
Stop it.
And she creates movies that are based off of novels. And she has a cult following of people that, because if you think about it, when you read a really good romance novel, women just love it, and they go around in the book clubs over in the States, and she has a huge following. They call themselves Passionistas. So I did a movie with her for her streaming platform, which is also on Amazon, and that being a romance book did come with intimate scenes. And that was a conversation that I had
Was that
with...
your first one too?
Yes.
Oh.
My first intimate scenes, it was a big jump and a leap up from not like a lot to like from doing kids to doing that. And it was something that I gave the script after I read it to Mitch, and I said, you need to read this and you need to tell me that, like, if you're comfortable with this.
How long have you guys, like how many years have been together then?
At that time, so it's 5 years in April, so it would have been 3 and a bit.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, and he was like, absolutely, let's do it. Let's go for it. He came over for some of it. He wasn't there in the room for the intimate scenes.
That would be
be awkward and strange. But there's just in terms of like the professionalism, you have an intimacy coordinator on set. At no point would I ever call the sexy scenes of filming sexy at all. It's very awkward, uncomfortable, and it's like a dance choreography that you practice prior to filming it, fully clothed with the intimacy coordinator of how are we going to make this look and feel real, knowing where the camera angles are going to be so that we can fake it. Yeah. And each take, very short, you just kind of do half the time it looks like you're doing stuff, but you're like off, not even like, it's all movie magic, really.
Wow.
So I'll be honest, I don't know how people fall in love on set because it's just uncomfortable.
I mean, some scenes I'm like, that doesn't look like it's pretending, and you know.
Yeah. There's definitely a few scenes like that in my movie where it's kind of like, even I watched it, I was like, wow,
honey, I still love you.
Oh my goodness. But there's a lot of unwinding to do after you finish a movie like that.
Yeah.
That I found straight after because I'd built up these walls, I suppose subconsciously, that I would never cross with Travis, my co-star, who's also an Australian, even though we filmed in America.
Oh, interesting.
And subconsciously I'd built these walls where, you know, you want to be in the character, but you kind of know that within the character there's still limitations for what you can do, where you can touch and what you can do.
Yeah. It's always nice to hear it from yourself, you know, what your thought patterns are like, because it's something I've always been so open and intrigued of, like.
But then afterwards, after we'd wrapped, I found that with Mitch, my fiance, that the walls were still up and that I wasn't just freely touching him like I normally would.
Wow.
And I realized that like not long after, and I was like, oh, I can hold your hand and I can touch you and, you know, just like have my, you know, my arm around you or on you, or just like little things. I'm not talking like intimate.
Yeah.
Literally just holding your hand.
Just the
And it took probably 3 weeks to fully unravel that wall that I'd kind of created in my subconscious.
It probably felt like this, and then it went, that slight little breath or something. Wow. Thank you for letting me know. I did had to be a double for an actor in Love Child. This is years ago, and I wasn't told. It was a sex scene. I know. I don't think that was legal, but anyway, they're not working that agency anymore, so I won't drop the name. But yeah, babe, it was horrible. I was like a newly actor in the space. Love Child. It was an Australian show. Double. Well, I'm getting up there. And I remember they're like, you know, we'll give you some extra undies. And that was the first thing they said to me. And I was like, what do you mean extra undies? But yeah, thank God it was one of those very awkward scenes. I knew the person I was having, you know, pretend sex with, you know, you're just humping them. And he was a dancer, you know, and he was so sweet. We were just both laughing at the end, but everyone was watching, you know. Yeah. And so I was always curious.
It's the power of the intimacy coordinator in today's day and age.
So that was probably not existing then.
It didn't.
Wow.
And I honestly have no idea how people then did intimate scenes, because without that intimacy coordinator being like the buffer between you and everybody and putting your foot down and being like, no, this is right, this is wrong, or to explain what an intimacy coordinator is on set, because I'm sure there's people that don't understand what that is.
It's very nice to hear that this is now.
Yeah. So basically what happens, the intimacy coordinator will work closely with you prior in pre-production to go over all the scenes. What are you comfortable with? What are you not? And that's individual. You are like one-on-one. So you can kind of air whatever you don't feel comfortable with at the time. And then they then do the same with the co-star. They come together, they talk to the director and tell the director, okay, this is maybe some changes that we need to implement based on these conversations. That's the first step. And then after that is the scene where you, the morning of, this is how we did it anyway, we would just kind of discuss it together, all three of us, how are we going to do this? This is before the director or anything. We kind of like have a discussion about how we feel comfortable about making this scene come to life. And then once we're comfortable with that, then we invite the director to say, this is what we're thinking. She says yes, and then we go to film it. Now, when you're filming it, the intimacy coordinator, I should say, comes in before anybody else. So if you've done a take of the scene, they are the first person to come in, and nobody else will come into the room until the intimacy coordinator gives the thumbs up.
Wow.
And even then, at times, there was like once where I just got a little bit too uncomfortable. I got a little bit too in my head, and I kind of had to say, I need a break. I need my own space. Yeah. And I just had to like go into it and just like have a little second, because it was just, it's a lot. And yeah, she just kind of did that without even, you know, asking anyone. It was just like, we take care of you first and we work around the rest. Yeah. So I just have no idea how anybody did this without an intimacy coordinator beforehand. I imagine a lot of people would have been incredibly uncomfortable.
100%. It's such a closeness, you know, but yeah, I'm just so happy you were able to share. Just learned something new. I mean, what I was going to ask you though around Lick, obviously because you've been in the entertainment world working in such amazing projects like Make Her Mermaids to newer work like Lick. Thanks, honey. How's your definition of being seen changed as you've grown as a woman and artist? So Make Her Mermaids, I was 19. I worked on that from 19 to 23. So I was really young. I was coming out of school. I was still at uni at the time. And I really just went along with whatever production said. I was just like, yeah, whatever you want, I'll do it. Yeah, let's make it happen. And I feel like there were a lot of opportunities that I could have maybe made use of that I didn't, because I just didn't have the knowledge and I was just too young.
So things like, PR opportunities or just making myself known as on the show rather than just sitting back and just waiting for things to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas now I look at when I did, whenever I do something now, I make sure that it has the right audience and that it is put in the right places, and I make the most of every opportunity that comes to me when I can. I never just sit and hope for the best. So in a way, yeah, you need to trust the universe, but also
Can't just hope.
you can't just be like, cool, I made this piece of art and I posted it on an Instagram page with no followers.
Let's see what happens.
It isn't going to really work like that. You do need to work a little harder than that to make yourself seen, and network and talk to the people around you. And I'm happy with the woman that I've become, both as a person and also within my field. I'm proud of what I put out there.
Can I just share something? Has anyone ever said to you, you have such a grounded energy? Has that always been you?
No.
Well, you have this beautiful frequency.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that.
Yeah. If there is a different energy versus then and now, you can tell.
I think there definitely would be. If you saw me prior to 2020, she didn't know who she was. But I think that's a big part of
life, right?
it is, yeah. When you're in your 20s, you're still working out who you are.
Yeah.
That's why I was so happy that I didn't meet, my fiance earlier. I think that it's great that I met him when I did, and I knew who I was, and I was a little bit more sure of myself. But to be honest, when I met him, he's a big part of what, I don't know, I just feel like I was finally able to just be myself very comfortably, unapologetically, crazy at times.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And he loves it. And I think after realizing that, I was like,
why can't I do this everywhere else, right?
this is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to be unapologetically that person.
Perfect for say it with your chest.
Yeah. And if people don't like it, so what? My husband does.
Exactly. Oh my God, you're beautiful. I've got 2 more questions for you, Brooke. As someone who works with her face, body, voice, and energy, what's the difference between performing for approval and expressing from truth?
Ooh, that is $1 million question. I don't know that I could answer it, because I think a lot about the times that I do presenting work or that my time with the Brisbane Bullets. I think that you focus on the job, and I think there is a big part that you want to be approved by the people that are watching. Actually, you know what? I think that in most areas of my life, in terms of presenting, I'm often looking for approval. I won't lie.
I think I am too, babe.
But when I'm acting, I think I'm too busy thinking about who the character is, what the character feels, to even worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
Until maybe it's finished.
Okay, what do you think?
And then I'm like, oh, was that any good? Or, yeah, interesting. Because my industry is obviously filled with a lot of negative no's.
Yeah.
I get a lot of no's on a daily basis. I'm constantly auditioning or going for modeling things and not getting it. So it's kind of built into my DNA, wanting approval, because if I get approval, I get the job.
Yeah, it's a trick question, but I think there's also no right or wrong. It is how it is versus what people's perception are of getting approval or validating, but also expressing. But from what it sounds like, you are wholeheartedly yourself in every opportunity that comes your way, whether on stage, whether performing as an actor, or whether being in character, or whether being you, you know?
It's just about finding that person.
Yeah.
And like I said at the start, finding that person and then being okay with how that person changes and evolves through time. Just like when you marry someone, you have to fall in love with them again and again.
That's true.
You kind of have to fall in love with yourself again and again through all of the hills and troughs.
Yep, I hear you. Brooke, my final question, my darling, is when you think about your dreams from here, what are you building that is bigger than fame? What legacy do you actually want your voice to leave?
What legacy do I want my voice to leave?
Or even just your legacy
Yeah.
to leave behind, whatever that is.
Well, seeing as I don't know if I want to have children, I know that that's not the answer. And I'm not sure that I'm too worried about leaving a legacy. I think I more want to build a life full of memories that I can be proud of. And I think there's been times that I've had people come up to me that have thanked me for one thing or another, whether it's my body positivity stuff, or whether it's just if they've seen me on talking about my career and how I've gotten places. I enjoy having helped people in that way, come to terms with themselves in that way. Ultimately, I want to be known for being a good friend. I want to be a good daughter, wife, sister to the people that I care about the most. I would eventually like to have ties with some sort of charity, but I'm not sure what that is yet.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yeah.
That was a really beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And Brooke Lee, anything else you want to get off your chest before we wrap up this beautiful episode?
Well, I will say that I do have a movie that is going to be playing at the Gold Coast Film Festival this year. It is All My Friends Are Back in Brisbane. It is the spiritual sequel to All My Friends Are Leaving Brisbane, which was, I don't even know how many years ago. But it's a local production playing at the Gold Coast Film Festival May 1st, which is going to be very exciting. Yes. I won't be there, unfortunately. I'll be getting married.
I think Nikki was going to get me tickets now. I'm like, I would love.
The Gold Coast Film Festival is something that I've loved to be a part of every year. I'm so sad to not be there this year when I finally have a film in there. However, it's a great story. It's universally recognised. You know, is when somebody leaves, when they come back, and their whole world and friendship and everything is different. So, check it out at the Gold Coast Film Festival, and I think that's
to add to that though. You know, what was the highlight of creating that movie for yourself? Yeah.
Creating that film it's a very low budget production. And I think that I really, really believe in the film film industry here on the Gold Coast.
More than...
Yeah. That's why I've always kind of come back to the Gold Coast because I believe that we have the world's best crew, cast and locations, particularly on the Gold Coast.
Like Chris Hemsworth is filming something here too. So
it's we spend, I think, in the last 12 months, $1.6 billion on international productions and $1.1 billion on local productions in Australia-wide. All of the Americans are looking at Australia because they can make the best productions here, the best crew. They've got great talent. Within 30 minutes, you can be from the beach, world-class studios, or up in the hinterland. Like, we've got the best things here. And I love making films here. Yeah. I particularly love if it's an Australian story. And I mean, all my friends are back in Brisbane. Yeah. So I love being a part of something that's a local production. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that I've done is more international or internationally recognized. So it's nice to have something that's here, that's local, that's low budget, but that's still getting interest from these film festivals.
Well, I can't wait to check it out. And thank you so much, Brooke Lee, for being here on Say It With Your Chest. I'm your host, Tamara Meyer, and I'll be back with another episode next week. Peace.
Bye.
I remember the first time I spoke on stage. My heart was racing, palms sweaty, voice was shaking. I was terrified. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because deep down I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of my own power. But here's the truth no one tells you. Speaking isn't about perfection. It's about connection. When you step onto stage, whether it's a room of 10 or 10,000 people aren't just listening to your word. They're feeling your energy. They're watching to see, does this person believe in what they're saying? Does this person believe in themselves? The power to command a room comes from owning your story, not performing a script. That's what amplifies your voice, and that's what creates impact. I spent years shrinking myself, dimming my light, thinking I had to sound like everyone else to be taken seriously. The moment I let go of the performance and I chose to lead with my truth, my voice changed, my business changed, my life changed, and that's what I want for you. Because when you learn to speak with authority, to lead with conviction, to show up as the fullest, boldest version of you, you don't just inform, you transform. Own your message and create the kind of presence that moves people into action, because your voice is your greatest asset. It's time to use it. So if you're ready to stop shrinking, if you're ready to step into the leader you were born to be, join me at Show Up and Speak Live. The mic is waiting, the world is waiting, and so am I.